Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and we're going to go ahead and take a quick review about what's going on with our space pod and our space station collision so that we can not only have an informed understanding of how our objects are moving and what's going on in space, but also so that we can report back to Dr. Gonzalez what we think is happening so they can make the best decision for how to rescue our space pod. So up to this point, we've really dove into our key concept, this idea that when objects collide, okay, there's going to be a force exerted on both objects, okay, and that force is going to come from each other. Now, the two forces are going to be exerted in opposite directions. So when two objects collide, they're going to exert forces in the opposite direction, but those forces are going to be equal to one another in the same strength. So when two objects collide, opposite directions of those forces, but they're going to have the same strength. Now, all of this hopefully can be seen not only in our experiments in our simulators today, but also can help us understand what's going on with our space pod. So let's go ahead and do a quick review about what forces are going on here with this collision between our pod and our station. So number one, we know that the pod was moving towards the space station with a specific velocity and mass. It came towards our station with the normal docking procedures. The space station was not moving at all. Okay, it was just out there in space waiting for the pod to dock. As our pod moved closer to our space station, we know it had a normal amount of thruster force was used up at dock. So thrusters turned on so it would slow and dock with our space station. We know that this is when the ground team lost its video contact with the pod and the station. So we have what happened at the very beginning, happened what was occurring during our docking station. So in the third image of our comic here, we know that the video returned and the pod velocity was moving away from the station now. So we know something has changed, and we know that it's now moving away. And this is when we, and the ground team and Dr. Gonzalez realized that the pod and the station have collided with one another. Okay, they've come together, collided, and now we have to apply what we know about these collision forces and such to explain maybe how and what's going on. So now we know that, and this is for our fourth image here, that the ground team discovered that the station is actually moving away from the pod. So the pod is not the only thing moving, so is the space station. And the station's velocity is changed due to some of these forces. So our ground team has to figure out what they're rescuing, what they're going for, and we got to figure out a lot to do with these big ideas for our four kind of comic strips. So make sure you record this important information. If you need to pause the video so you can get it into your notes for yourself, go for it. This is a good time to do split screen. Okay. Otherwise, make sure you get those in there. If you have questions, please reach out.